Do you actually know what your cat is expecting from you? Not in obvious ways, like food or a warm lap, but in the silent, almost invisible ways they gauge your presence, your attention, your calm. Most owners assume they're just petting an animal, but your cat is reading your actions, your rhythm, your subtle choices. They notice patterns you never thought mattered, and this isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding the rules they silently hold. There's a reason your cat moves away when you reach too quickly, or why they linger in a particular corner, watching you. If you see your cat as family, this is the moment you begin to notice the patterns that matter more than anything you've been told. 1. The misunderstood beginning owner. Assumption: cats are aloof because they don't like people. Calm contradiction: they aren't aloof, they are selective. Instinct explanation: cats evolved as both predators and prey. Their survival depended on reading signals, subtle movements, sudden shifts, unpredictable gestures. Humans are large, sometimes unpredictable creatures, so a cat's aloofness is often a protective calibration, not rejection. Emotional translation: when something feels unpredictable, your cat doesn't argue. They distance themselves. This isn't spite, it's a measure of safety. Micro-hook forward. And this is where the first unspoken rule appears, before any bonding even begins. The first rule: predictability over attention. It might seem counterintuitive. You might think constant interaction, constant attention, constant affection will make your cat trust you. But cats respond more to steady, predictable rhythms than to intensity. Moving predictably in the house, offering meals at consistent times, touching in ways they prefer, rather than insisting. These create the emotional infrastructure your cat depends on. Think of it as the framework for trust. Without predictability, affection becomes noise. Your cat might appear standoffish, but they're silently scanning for safety. Pacing cue. This is where the shift begins. 2. The behavioural effects of rule breaking. Owner assumption: ignoring a cat or doing things differently occasionally won't matter. Calm contradiction: small inconsistencies can ripple into subtle anxiety. Instinct explanation: cats are sensitive to patterns. A sudden movement, an unusual gesture, even a change in tone can feel like a tiny threat. They're finely tuned to detect deviation. Emotional translation: when you're inconsistent, your cat experiences small, repeated micro-stresses. Not panic, not fear, but enough to make them pause, retreat, or hesitate to engage. Micro-hook forward. And this is exactly where the second unspoken rule becomes crucial. The second rule: respect. Their personal rhythm. Cats, like humans, have a sense of timing, but unlike humans, they measure it in instincts and survival signals. Approach slowly if they're resting. Don't insist on affection after a long period alone. Observe their gaze, ears, tail. These are their communication instruments. Ignoring these signs doesn't make them difficult, it makes them cautious. And cautious cats are not distant cats. They're assessing safety. Pacing cue, and this is what most people miss. 3. The subtle trust shift owner. Assumption: trust is built with grand gestures, treats, cuddles, playtime. Calm contradiction: trust often begins with absence of disruption. Instinct explanation: in the wild, cats had to measure safety continuously. The slightest anomaly could indicate danger. Domestic cats retain that sensitivity. If you move, speak, or touch in ways that respect their natural pacing, trust grows silently. Emotional translation: each small, consistent decision you make, leaving them space, letting them approach, avoiding sudden moves, strengthens emotional security. Micro-hook you forward, and this is the third unspoken rule, the one most owners overlook entirely. The third rule: approach with choice, not force. Cats are creatures of autonomy. They are not passive participants in affection, they are active evaluators. Let them decide when to engage. Let them withdraw without consequence. Allow them to explore their environment uninterrupted. When your cat has choice, they feel control over their world. Control isn't dominance, it's emotional safety, and when they feel safe, connection deepens naturally. Pacing cue: it seems small, it isn't. 4. Emotional distancing and microsignals. Owner. Assumption. Distance means dislike. Calm, contradiction. Distance often signals evaluation. Instinct. Explanation. Cats use space as a communication tool. They measure scent, movement and sound to decide if interaction is safe. This isn't rejection, it's self-regulation. Emotional translation. When a cat steps back, they're managing comfort. Over time, they learn your habits, your tone, your presence. This builds a quiet familiarity that underpins deeper attachment. Microhook, forward. Here's where the fourth unspoken rule emerges. Subtle, but transformative. The fourth rule, honour their withdrawal. If your cat retreats, resist calling them back aggressively. Avoid physical pursuit. Allow visual or scent contact from a distance. These micropauses let your cat know they can engage on their own terms. Autonomy in the relationship creates deeper emotional investment. Pacing cue. And this is exactly where attachment begins, without a single command. 5. Deep attachment and permanent shift owner assumption. Cats bond only through affection and presence. Calm contradiction. Cats bond through predictability, choice and respect for rhythm. Instinct. Explanation. Familiarity, repetition and scent create chemical reinforcement. Oxytocin, a sense of safety and comfort. Cats remember these patterns. They remember your calm, your predictability, your respect. Emotional translation. Each interaction is layered with emotional data. Over weeks, months, years, your cat develops a model of safety around you. They learn you are predictable, non-threatening, responsive. That model is the foundation for deep attachment. Microhook. Forward. And this is where the fifth unspoken rule manifests, quietly powerful. The fifth rule, bond through consistency, not force. Stick to routines they respond to. Keep interactions calm, brief, meaningful. Respond to their signals more than initiating on your own schedule. Trust isn't granted by possession, it's chosen. And when your cat chooses to stay near you, follow your scent or nuzzle against your hand, it's the peak of silent consent, a bond built on mutual understanding rather than insistence. Pacing. Cue. This is the subtle chemistry that most owners never see. 6. Story-driven narrative. Example. Consider a typical evening. You come home. The cat has been observing all day. You move through the apartment predictably, calmly. They stretch, then settle in a nearby chair. You sit, maintaining a soft rhythm, no sudden movements. They inch closer, a paw, a head nuzzle. Then they retreat, only to return moments later. No commands, no forced affection, just interaction built on invisible rules, the ones cats always expect. Emotional translation. This dance, quiet as it is, signals safety, familiarity and choice. It is a rhythm your cat knows they can trust. Over months, these small interactions compound into attachment chemistry. Microhook forward. And it all begins with noticing, respecting and aligning with these unspoken rules. 7. Additional behavioural insights. Eye contact. Direct stares can feel threatening. Slow blinks communicate trust and calm. Scent marking. Cats rub objects and people to layer safety signals. Allow them this ritual. Territorial navigation. Avoid moving objects or interfering with spaces they patrol. This reduces subtle stress. Auditory sensitivity. Sudden noises can trigger distancing. Calm tone, minimal sudden volume shifts promote approach behaviour. Tail and ear cues. A flicking tail or swivelling ears are microsignals. Observe and adapt. Emotional translation. Each detail is a data point for trust. Overlooked, they slow bonding. Honoured, they deepen connection. Pacing. Cue. And this is what attentive owners begin to notice. Your cat was never being distant. They were responding to how safe everything felt. The rules were always there. Quiet, consistent, easy to miss. Not about control, but about understanding. Not about attention, but about trust. And when you begin to follow them, something shifts. Your cat doesn't come closer because you asked. They come closer because they chose to.